Good morning viewers, welcome to Expert Lecture Series conducted as a part of World Space Week Celebrations 2021. As you would all know, the theme for the year is Women in Space. We seek to recognize and honor the achievements of women in the field of space. Today with us, we have a person whose contribution has stood synonymous to the theme. I take immense pleasure in welcoming Mrs. R. Preeta, Scientist SF, SDSC SHAR. She had completed her bachelor's degree in electronics and instrumentation at JJCET Trichy. She also holds an executive development certificate in leadership and change management by IIM Raipur. She joined ISRO as a scientist in the year 2006. Currently, she is the Deputy Manager of Instrumentation Systems, Liquid Propellant Storage and Servicing Facilities LSSF, and also the Manager of Cryo Instrumentation System, Augmentation of Second Launch Pad ASLP project. She has contributed in the field of instrumentation systems for over a period of 15 years, and few noteworthy ones include successful design and commissioning of the state-of-art ground instrumentation for servicing cryo stage of GSLV Mark III launch vehicle at the second launch pad, demonstration of excellent performance of instrumentation systems during Mark III missions, designing and commissioning of the ground instrumentation for servicing of L110 C25 stages of Mark III launch vehicle and for ground resonance testing and structural testing of stage tank in modular configuration, commissioning of process automation system for earth storable propellant bulk processing facility. She was the recipient of ISRO's Young Scientist Merit Award 2015 for her contributions. She is also a life member of Astronautical Society of India. On this note, I extend my warm welcome to Preeta ma'am for today's program.
Greetings to everyone. A warm welcome to students and teachers fraternity. I would like to introduce you to Instrumentation and Automation System for Liquid Propellant Stage Servicing. It's always an excitement to see aerial crackers during festivals going up in the sky. How does it make it up there? It functions as a two-stage rocket. The first stage, which has a tube containing the gunpowder that is lit with a fuse. When the fuse is lit up, it ignites the chemical composition which provides the thrust in downward direction and lifts the self weight of the rocket and reaches few hundred meters till the gunpowder is exhausted. The second stage is packed with gunpowder, oxidizers and colorants which gives us brilliant colors. It's the same case with satellite launching rockets. The self weight of the rocket needs to be lifted up. It shall travel many kilometers through the atmosphere and out in the space. At present, all launch vehicles has more than one stages. Designed with multiple stages, the spent stage shall be separated, the next stage shall be ignited and it will take over the flight. So the types of propellant used in ISRO launch vehicles. What are propellants? The chemical composition which is filled in the launch vehicle is called propellant, which thrusts the vehicle in the required path. The type of propellants used are solid and liquid propellants. Solid propellant consists of aluminum powder as fuel, HTPP as binder. It is prefabricated with outer casing and can be made in segments, assembled as and when required. In SHAR, we have a capability to build up to 200 tons of solid motor stage. Liquid propellants and required gases need to be filled in launch vehicle prior to launch vehicle liftoff. Earth storable propellants are storable in liquid condition in ambient atmosphere. They are hypogolic, toxic and hazardous in nature. Whereas cryopropellants are stored in liquid condition below -150 degrees Celsius. They are flammable. The newly designed stage will use semi-cryopropellants which are eco-friendly and use liquid oxygen as oxidizer and kerosene as fuel. Now we will see how liquid propulsion stage works. It has a fuel tank, it has an oxidizer tank. The propellant is drawn and pumped to the combustion chamber where they are mixed in appropriate ratio and burnt. The combustion produces great amount of exhaust gas at high temperature and high pressure. The exhaust is passed through the nozzle which accelerates the flow. It has higher specific impulse than solid rockets. They are capable of being throttled, shut down and restart. Because of this capability, they are used in long-term missions. Based on the engine burn time required for the mission requirement, the quantity of the propellant to be filled is decided. The propellant needs to be fed to the pump in liquid state. Hence, the temperature of the propellants are to be well below the boiling point, or the air pockets will be generated at the pump inlet. To maintain a net positive suction head at the inlet of the pump, the stage tank pressurization is required. The purity and the composition of the propellant of the liquid is one of the determining factor of the engine efficiency. So how do you do it? How do you fill our normal vehicles? The person at the station asks for what type of fuel you would like to fill, what is the quantity required. Once the details are got, he initializes his fuel reading in the panel to 0. The compartment is open. Initially he starts the filling slowly, then estimates what is the fill rate he has to get. Then once it reaches the required quantity, he often peaks and checks whether it doesn't overflow. So the fill level of the tank is also monitored. The quantity filled is available at the panel. Similar way, for liquid propellant stage filling, how it is being done. The launch vehicle will be brought in assembled condition. Now if you are considering GSLV Mark II vehicle, GS1 stage is solid and is assembled. L40, GS2 and GS3 stages are liquid stages and so are empty and to be filled. L40 strap-ons and GS2 stages are to be filled with adsorable propellants. GS3 stage is to be filled with cryopropellants. The sequence of filling shall be GS2, then L40s and then GS3 that needs to be filled near liftoff. The propellant storage is spread around the launch pad. The liquids need to be brought to the launch pad and then filled to the empty tanks. For filling, we should know what is the stage tank capacity, fill level detection, how much quantity to be filled, fill temperature and fill pressure. These operations need to be carried out remotely and automatically without manual intervention. The filling operation starts from 24 hours to 40 seconds before liftoff. The filling needs to be completed with specified parameters in specified time. For instance, if we take fuel filling to GS2 stage, the quantity to be filled is approximately 15.3 tons, which will vary according to mission requirement with an accuracy of 0.2%. Now if you take the propellant filling system, this is an Herculean task which is done by mechanical system, instrumentation system and a process automation system. So what is a mechanical system? The equipments and process circuits which are required for storage, handling, conditioning and transfer of process fluids. We are talking of filling tons of propellant. So they need to be stored in a pressure vessel. A pressure vessel is a container designed to hold gases and liquids at substantially different from ambient pressures. Design involves parameters such as maximum safe operating pressure, temperature, safety factor, corrosion allowance and minimum design temperature. In case of cryo, the tank will experience as low as minus 253 Kelvin. It need to be maintained with minimum evaporation loss. Based on the temperature specification, we have to cool all propellants. Heat exchanger is a system that is used to transfer heat between more fluids. The fluids may be separated by a wall to prevent mixing or they may be in direct contact. So this type of chilling is used in adsorable. A vacuum ejector which produces vacuum by means of Venturi effect. The motive gas which leaves the jet at a high velocity due to Bernoulli's principle results in the low pressure, thus generating a vacuum. This type of chilling is used for cryofilling. For operations of valves, filling the stage and gas bottles purging of this process circuit, compressed gas is required. So compressor is required to increase the pressure of a gas by reducing its volume. Then we have the pump. We have to pump the propellants to a elevation. So we use different type of pumps. For adsorable propellants, we are using hermetic pump for absolute leak tightness and high reliability for filling. And a valve is a device that regulates, directs or controls the flow of the liquid by opening or closing or partially obstructing the process lines. Pipelines are being used to long distance transportation of propellants. Vacuum jacketed pipeline is used for transferring supercooled gases in liquid form. Cryogens like liquid oxygen and liquid nitrogen must be kept cold during the transfer process, or some of the liquid will become gaseous and leak out. Hose is a flexible hollow tube which is used to carry the fluids from one location to another with quick connect and quick disconnect mode. Safety relief valve for opening if there is a rise in the pressure. Filtration where we are removing the solid particles from the propellant or from the gaseous medium, which permits the fluid to pass through. The mechanical system, based on the stage inputs, the functional requirements of the system is worked out and the plant is designed using required components. All the engineering study inputs is embedded to the design so that a fault-free, less risk and high reliable system is obtained. The process measurement and control required and the process procedure to be adopted will be charted out. These requirements are now given to the instrumentation system. So what is instrumentation system? It equips the plant or the process circuit with qualitative, quantitative measurement and or control. How do you select the instruments? Based on the application and the range. The instruments are selected based on the range of measurement. Certified instrument suitable for hazardous area is selected for propellant application. If we have a pressure measurement of 10 bar and 7 millibar, appropriate instrument need to be selected. The principle and technique of measurement shall be selected appropriately. It can be primitive, invasive or non-invasive. Due to high stability, resistant temperature detector is used for temperature measurement of all circuits. PT100 for earth-storable temperature measurement and PT500 for cryo temperature measurements for high sensitivity at lower temperatures. Mode of operation. If the system needs to be monitored, controlled from remote, then appropriate instrument capable of transmitting the signal shall be employed. In our case, being hazardous application, all measurements and control have this capability. Continuous or event based. If the measurement and control needs to be continuous or event based on that, we will be selecting the instruments. Pressure has reached above 10 bar. If this needs to be known, a pressure switch can be used. If exact pressure values should be known, then a continuous pressure measurement with pressure transmitter is employed. Accuracy of measurement. Earth storable filling quantity is quantity based and ground quantity measurement is used for filling quantity computation. So highly accurate mass flow meters are employed. Whereas in cryo filling, it is not based on the ground measurement, it is based on the stage level and temperature measurements. So we go in for orifice flow meters. Criticality of the system. A non-performance of the instrument can be deterrent to any operation or the safety of the system. Then it is critical. Highly reliable instruments and redundancy is incorporated. Based on the parameter measured and how it quickly responds, a sensor is able to react to the changes in the measured parameters. So if the process variations are fast, the instrument employed shall be capable of capturing it. If the process is sluggish, high response sensor will not be of any use. Operating conditions. Environmental and operating conditions which are most oftenly neglected or need to be considered while selecting the instrument. For instance, the instruments are susceptible for corrosion due to saline environment of coastal region. This is mitigated by using sacrificial coating on the instruments. For example, all the connectors we use are provided with cadmium coating for protection from salinity. So based on these criteria, these instruments are selected. Smart instruments for pressure, temperature, flow and level. For control, we have dual redundant solenoid valve, smart control valve positioner, intrinsic safe isolator cum signal conditioner, which isolates the hazardous area from the safe area. Also, it signal conditions the input from the transmitter to suitable form to the automation system. Motor control centers for pump and dual redundant power supply. So what are the extra features available? Intrinsic safety. In case of an oxygen with flammable liquid, an ignition energy is sufficient to cause the explosion. So the explosion can be avoided and safety can be ensured by limiting the energy available at the hazardous region. This is done by employing intrinsically safe isolators. Next is redundancy. The intended operation needs to be carried out even in case of any failure. The function of the failed component or system will be done by a substitute component or system incorporated. Two types of redundancy is available, component level as well as system level. For example, dual redundant solenoids are being used where two coils and two valves are present to operate a single valve. Triple status for valve status monitoring. Main and redundant power supply, which are then again fed with main and redundant UPS. When you come in for system level redundancy, we have manual safing system for safing the ground and stage circuits in case of automation system failure. We have the safety instrumented system. All storage and launch pad is monitored for pollution levels and alarming is provided locally as well as remote. Water based fire protection system for post launch propellant dilution in case of spillage. Now we have the automation system. So once the input is given from the process for the process procedure and the signals are obtained to the automation system, how the data needs to be acquired, monitored and controlled and sequenced needs to be done by the automation system. With automation, the process can be handled efficiently, safely and in a deterministic way, and manual intervention can be avoided to the maximum possible extent. We will see an example of acoustic suppression system to give a feel of sequencing and the reaction time available for any action. Acoustic suppression system is used to suppress the jet noise at the liftoff for GSLV Mark III. Noise is suppressed by the stage water injection at different locations at launch pad. The jet deflector valves need to be opened at 3.9 seconds before liftoff. The MLP bottom valves need to be opened at 2.4 seconds before liftoff. And the top MLP valves need to be opened at 0.6 seconds after confirming the liftoff. In case of any launch hold at any point of time, the previously opened valves need to be closed or the launch vehicle at pad will be impinged with high velocity water. Hence an automation system which handles it efficiently need to be incorporated. The output of the sensors which are signal conditioned and provided as input to the input card of the automation system, and the output commands are interfaced to the commanding elements of the instrumentation through isolator. Controller level IO layer redundancy is also available. Control algorithms shall be sequential with end parameter termination or maintenance with on off or continuous control for pressure, temperature, flow, level control. Surveillance with on off control or continuous control for any of the interlocks. Now that we have seen about the propellant filling system, so the mechanical system, the instrumentation system and the automation system, with the knowledge of that, we will try to instrument the circuit and control the filling remotely. So for that we have a storage tank, the propellant is being stored there. We have the stage tank where the propellant need to be filled, and we have a pressurization circuit to pressurize the stage tank. For this we will have process instrumentation components like electro-pneumatic valve, flow control valve, hermetic can motor pump and mass flow meter. Pressure transmitter, temperature and level for process parameter measurement. So initially the storage tank need to be instrumented so that the pressure, level and temperature parameters of the tank can be viewed remotely, and the outlet of the storage tank need to be opened or closed, and the inlet to the stage tank also need to be opened or closed. So we have electro-pneumatic valve for that purpose. Now that it is remotely monitored and controlled, we will go for pump, which is required to pump the propellant to a higher elevation where stage tank is located. Once this is achieved, we will go for a propellant chilling circuit, which involves heat exchanger which will remove the heat from the propellant, and the flow needs to be controlled with a flow control valve, and the flow need to be measured using a flow meter. The filling flow rate and the control at the stage end need to be attained. For this we have mass flow meters as well as flow control valve at the launch pad area. Once this is done, then we have to control the pressure of the ullage medium of the tank. This is done by opening or closing of the valves, which is done at the inlet of the stage tank as well as at the outlet of the pressurization tank. Now the sequence will be, first the pump will be primed and the propellant will be chilled. Next, the process line chilling takes place and the filling of the process lines will be taking place. After this is done, the mass flow meter, the propellant is allowed through the mass flow meters and the healthiness of mass flow meters is being verified. Once that is also being done, the stage pressure surveillance is engaged. The stage pressure need to be maintained during the filling operations. And the stage valves are being commanded so that the propellant filling starts. Once it starts and it completes, then there is a level sensor which shows that there is a propellant filling is completed. So after completion of propellant filling, the stage valves are being closed so that further filling will not take place. Based on the filled quantity, whether complementary draining or complementary filling needs to be done will be decided. This is the actual circuit which we have seen for UH-25 fuel filling to the rocket, which incorporates redundancy and all fault free and risk free and safe operations. Now we will see about cryopropellant filling. Cryopropellants which are manufactured, stored or handled at below minus 150 degrees Celsius. If we take LH2, liquid hydrogen, it is having a temperature as low as minus 253 degrees Celsius. These fluids need to be handled safely. Hydrogen is highly inflammable, ignition energy as low as 20 microjoules and its flammable range starts from 4%. Hydrogen detectors are employed for leak detection even as low as 0.5%. Enrichment of oxygen due to liquid oxygen leakage may lead to increase in rate of combustion of metals like aluminum or steel, which are non-flammable in air. Oxygen detectors are employed for this leak detection. Now let us see how we are going to fill the cryopropellants. It need to be loaded with predetermined quantity. The actual mass loaded is computed from the mean mass temperature, level and the pressure. Excess loading or deficient loading affects the mission performance since it is the upper stage. Now we will see the sequence of filling of log stage. The liquid oxygen from the storage tank is allowed through the pump circuits for chilling and priming. Once the chilling and filling of the storage circuits is achieved, the propellant is pumped to the coolers where the propellant is chilled and filled to the stage initially at low flow rate, then at a higher flow rate till the minimum level. After the minimum level filling is completed, thermal stratification is removed by draining liquid oxygen from the bottom of the tank and spraying liquid oxygen from the top of the tank. This process is called thermostating. After thermostating, propellant level correction to flight requirement is done. The ullage or the gaseous oxygen which is present in the top portion of the tank is substituted to avoid condensation and reduction in tank pressure during flight. After pressure correction, liquid oxygen stage readiness is generated. Similarly, the readiness signal is generated for fuel tank and gas bottles filling operation. Once all operations initiated by automatic launch sequence is completed, liftoff takes place at T0. So we have seen what systems are required for filling and how they are selected, interfaced and how operation takes place. My acknowledgements to event planners, my colleagues and the internet sources, and thank you all for patient listening.